actually started with an argument from my wife and I, my late wife Marilyn. She got upset about something. I got upset. I picked my tush up and I went over to the bowling alley the first time on Ocean Avenue. The reason that I actually started bowling, going backwards a little, was that I pitched softball and it rained, and so we started. They took me into Freddie Fitzsimmons in the Bay.
That was a great house.
Yeah, with the pinboys. So I kept records. I was the record keeper. And you made a few pennies. You played a quarter a line or so. You know what I mean? The bets were light. It was just fun.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And the first game I bowled was 114, which indicated that I must be doing something right. Got to a point where I couldn't pitch anymore. I was about 33 years of age. 32, 33.
Right.
At the time, I couldn't do both. Spring training, it just got too much. My muscles were changing. In other words, I'm playing, I'm pitching is one thing. I'm bowling is another thing. So I decided to give up the softball and go into the bowling end of it because there was money to be made. And in those days, you didn't make a lot salary-wise. So you needed a little added income, and my wife was watching two small children. Actually, they weren't that small anymore. But still, then she decided to go to work, and we became the first working couple. But that's neither here nor there. So Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Friday night was the Classic League in Glenwood. It was a, what do you call it? Average league, 5-man team. I was the only one that didn't drink beer. There used to be 70 or 80 bottles of beer laying on the back table. I was the only one that didn't. And of course, they had smoking at that time, so there was nothing you could do about that. And I had a 189 average.
That was fantastic.
I'm already up in there. All my leagues came up, and I got single trophies in Monday and Tuesday, and we put together a team that wasn't supposed to win, and we beat the whole bunch on Friday night. And then, of course, my wife was wondering, where the hell am I? I'm in the pot games making some money. And I'd go back Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and I'd bowl all afternoon in the pot games.
How much did you enjoy the pot games back then at the beginning?
Well, hey, shooting 2 1/4, shooting 250 once in a while, and all of a sudden I started averaging in the 190s.
That's great.
All of a sudden I'm the man average in the house at 199.
And that was a fantastic average back then.
Yeah. They decided they didn't want me in it anymore. I gathered up about 25 trophies over a period of time.
Yeah, those are the days they gave them out.
5 of the clip.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'd have a dinner for all the leagues. And I would wind up with 5 or 6 of those trophies, high average or high game or high series. And I still have them all. They're in the house here. And it was very, very much fun. But I wanted to increase my capacity. All of a sudden, one Saturday afternoon, I'm watching television from Whispering Joe Wilson from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And that did it. That did it.
That totally hooked you in, huh?
Hooked me, hook, line, and sinker. I watched some of my friends were bowling on the what do you call it, on the show.
Right.
And then they had one from Cleveland. And it just absolutely hooked me. So now I get out of Glenwood completely. Now I'm going to bowl here in the Bay. I'm going to bowl out on the island. And I'm going to bowl in Jersey. Elizabeth Lanes, I got trophies coming That's his title.
Wow. How were those lanes there in Elizabeth?
In Elizabeth, I'm averaging 214.
Oh, fantastic.
In fact, and of course, what do you call it? The other house we bowled in also was right nearby. What the heck's the name of that town? I forgot. I gotta look it up. Anyhow, trophies coming out of there too. And of course, I joined the PBA, but this is something that took a tough time for me. What happened here is they rejected me because the guys who were in charge of the PBA area, the district, didn't want me. They were afraid of me for some unearthly reason.
What year was that about?
59, 60.
Hmm.
Now I'm bowling in them two lanes and I'm bowling on the black alleys.
That was a scene and a half.
Yeah, and all the rest that was going on. And I got a 209 average in the league, and the Brooklyn Leagues, and then we had the one over there in Bay Ridge. I bowled in that one too. I bowled in 4 leagues.
That's bowling a lot of leagues.
I used to shoot 200 games a week.
Wow.
I'm talking about the fact is that I didn't pay for lineage.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the pot games became very valuable money to me. I go home with a couple $100 at least during the week. And of course, when we started with the travel league out in the island, I came back into Brooklyn, and Seaview was my money maker.
Yeah, well, big action at Seaview back there. That was the first big action house in Brooklyn.
Right. Now, I had 3 partners. Gil Edgett, who started that East versus West television show on Channel 9.
Uh-huh.
I'm the only bowler that made all 3 series.
Really?
Yes. I'd shoot 7-something, and I'd knock out everybody in Jersey. They used to have to sneak them in because every time they came in, Gil would send for me.
Right.
And I'd knock them out.
That has to be great memories.
And Gil Edgett was one partner. Vinny Pantuso was another partner.
Fantastic bowler.
And Joe S.
And Joe S.
Who I didn't trust.
Yeah, well, Joe S. always had his ways.
To do things which he shouldn't.
Right.
He turned around and dropped pins to get them to come back. I said, Joe, I'll break your arms. You turn around and do that to me.
Right.
I says, I have a reputation. You have a reputation. You do it by beating them. You don't do it by laying down.
Back then, how did Joe S.
How to be a business person.
Oh yeah, back then, how did Joe S. do in the action bowling?
In the action bowling, Joe got himself into trouble a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
He was bowling a guy over there in 4th Avenue. What the heck? And he gave him a check for $4,000.
Was that Melody or something, or Paradise?
No, Paradise. I said a record.
Right.
Paradise. I said a record, a 5-man record.
Hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. Very good.
238, 234, 238, 300, 300, 278.
Right.
27 in a row before I broke.
That's something else. Listen, did Vinny bowl much big action?
Who, Vinny?
Vinny, yeah.
No, he didn't get involved.
Yeah, right. I didn't think so.
In the plumbing supply business.
Yeah, right. I didn't think so because I never saw him shoot action.
Well, only with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd come in and he would be there in Seaview, and the guys would pick on us, and we would just lay him down.
Right.
We go right across the house in about 3 hours, 4 hours. We picked up $5,000 to $10,000.
Well, that had to be a great doubles team, you and him.
Oh, me and him? Forget about it.
Right.
He's what you call a mensch.
Right.
Jewish. That means he's a real good guy.
Right.
I never had an argument with him. I don't know whether he's still alive or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
Right.
They wouldn't let him in.
I wonder why.
Well, listen, I don't have to tell you, Joe did things he shouldn't do.
Right.
But we respected him. He was on our team at Cropsey Avenue. We had Edget, Pantuso, Joes, myself, and I forgot who else.
Right.
There were 5 on the team. We had 1,000 average team.
No, that was some team then.
But I had the high average in the league
Right.
at 209.
That's high.
Yeah, but Joe went after me one night. We finished the league, and I said, Joe, you don't want to do this. Joe, don't start. He says, Bergie, for 100, 2 games.
Right.
Bergie, and he kept repeating it. I says, all right. Now, John Engen, oh yeah, John bowled in the league too.
Now there's a great bowler too. Well,
Ralph's father.
yeah. Well, Ralph was fantastic. What a ball Ralph threw.
I beat Ralph.
Really?
And I beat up Ralph in a match upstate. I beat him badly.
Huh.
On his favorite pair.
Really?
That's right. I beat him, and I was so sorry. When I got done with him, I said, you send your best to your father.
Right. Yeah.
Remember, nobody messed with me. I wouldn't allow it.
Right.
I shot an open 300 up there. One of my 300s. I shot a practice round of an open 300. I also had an open 300 in Long Island. I got the trophy. That'll have the name of it on it.
Right. And 300s didn't come so easy back in those days.
I shot 9.
That's a lot to shoot then.
And the sanction one was from Country Lanes at the age of 64.
Really? Wow.
And where I was on my knees, 2 lanes down. I saw it go into the pit.
Was that Country Lanes in Staten Island?
From those guys. It was absolute quiet. You
Right.
could hear a pin drop when I threw the 12th ball.
Right. Was that Country Lanes in Staten Island?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a tough house.
Yeah. Right.
And I did. I shot 201, 300, 205.
Fantastic.
I was leaving 10 pins in 7th and 4 pins. Till that particular game, I just happened to catch them all.
Right.
But the world's record was 234, 238, 300, 300, 278. And it was Ray Bluth, 9 months later, shot a 5-game block and beat me. No 300s.
Right.
He just happened to pick up high games in the first 2 that compensated for the 300.
Right. Yeah.
So I had it for 9 months.
That's unreal. That's great.
I made ABC television, I don't know, 4, 5, 6. I can't remember. But I know I made it. And I won the All-Star, and I set the record in the All-Star.
I tell you, those are great memories.
First game, I was 200 pins behind when we went up to Union Square, the house up in New York.
Right.
Little did I know that they set the house for me.
Really?
That's the truth, because I didn't know the house from peanuts. The first game I shot was 169, but the last 4 frames were strikes.
Right.
That's it. That did it. 279, 289, 290 something. I went right down the line, beating everybody in front of me.
Wow.
I went after them all, caught the leader with 50 over him. That's what I did to him. Then I said to him, you and I are going to go to Texas, the Grand Prairie. I said, it's the trophy we're playing for now.
Right.
I said, there's nobody as near us. Do your best.
Right.
And I beat the living hell out of him. I took the trophy. It's in the house.
I tell you, did you really appreciate all of those great days when they were happening?
Are you kidding? My body was shaking when I got done.
Right.
My first win was in 1962. I won the Brooklyn Match Game Championship in Gil Hodges. The old Gil Hodges.
Right.
That was, not the one that is presently now. The old Gil Hodges on, what do you call it, Ralph Avenue.
Right.
It's now a P.C. Rich's place.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, that's the only one I bowled at was the old one. Well, actually, the new one is what, Mill Lanes? What used to be Mill Lanes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Gil was a personal friend of mine.
Nice man.
Yes, I missed him when he signed as manager of the old Senators.
Right.
And his partner was a doctor.
Yeah, Gil used to live over on Bedford Avenue.
Yes. Joan is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know what I mean? And Gil had a mitt that was big as a baseball glove.
Right.
I mean, theoretically, he had a big hand. And that reminds me, I shook hands with Johnny Unitas, another guy with a big mitt.
Really?
That was in Pennsylvania. We bowled a PBA tournament over there. I mean, I made the tournaments once a month. That's what I did.
Right.
I made money. I bowled in Madison Square Garden. I picked up a check. The guys were yelling, "What are you doing here? Why aren't you at work?"
Right.
I said, "I want to come and bowl with you guys."
Right.
He says, "You're taking our money." I said, "That's just too bad."
Right. What did you enjoy the most? Pot bowling, heads up, or doubles?
I enjoyed the doubles because it meant that we'd have a crowd.
Right.
Even though the singles brought crowds in also.
Mm-hmm.
My first real match, I think it was Phil Marino.
Really?
Over in Kings Lanes.
Uh-huh.
I got a call at 6:30 that night that they're setting the lanes up for him. I said, "So what?"
Uh-huh.
My wife said she wanted to come and watch.
Right.
Oh, and I made the first tournament. I made the first TV show on Channel 9. That was WOR by itself.
Right.
Over in Neptune Lanes with the black alleys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She hid in the bathroom.
Really?
She couldn't watch.
I don't blame her.
So then she decided to come, and then my Goomba buddies came with them. I didn't even know they were there.
Right.
I sat on each side of her, and two were standing in the back.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it should be. But let me ask you, who was your favorite doubles partner?
Yes, Vinny.
Vinny. Okay.
Loved him.
That's
You
the way.
like it? Loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I took him for what he was.
Right.
And that was the way I handled him.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, that's what you got to do with Joe.
Huh?
That's what you got to do with Joe.
Joe was a mouth.
Right.
And he thought that he was better than me.
Right.
And he'll lie and tell you things that he said that he did to me, which is untrue.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But let me tell you something. When I shot that 300, that was my finish with him.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And that was the end of the league because that place closed up.
Yeah, well, okay. You got to take care of business, right?
Huh?
You got to take care of business the right way.
I was a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the PBA taught us how to keep records.
Right.
We had to keep records. We had what deductions we could take as far as things are concerned, like bowling balls, clothing,
Right.
insurance, car, gas, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All the things that you file, like I had to file a separate income tax form with my regular form.
Right.
And my brother-in-law, may he rest in peace, was an IRS supervisor.
Uh-huh.
So I got all the good information that I needed to file my taxes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, good information is important. Let me ask you.
Correct.
Let me ask you. What was your favorite era in bowling?
My favorite year?
Era. In other words, that.
Era?
Yeah.
Between 59 and 65.
That's amazing. You said that. It's amazing you said that because those are the years that I did all my action bowling. Right between that.
Well, the guys always wanted to take me out on the black alleys.
Right.
and have some fun with me, and it cost them dearly. When I bowled in Neptune Lanes, I had 7 alleys, 7 pairs that I can shoot 700.
Right. Well,
There
Neptune.
was only one pair of lanes all the way up in the back near the parking lot,
Right.
which got to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't shoot a 600 series if I tried my best.
Yeah.
From all different angles.
Yeah, well, Neptune Lanes was great lanes. I went to high school then when they had the black lanes. I went to Grady,
Well,
and
you went to Grady, yeah.
right, and Neptune was the house that the bowling team from Grady bowled at, and I remember I bowled heads up after one of the school matches. I bowled against Tommy Donato, a heads up match after.
Tommy Donato was a decent bowler.
Yeah, he was a very good bowler, Tommy. Very good bowler. Not in your class.
Bothered me. A lot of the guys, they bowl pot games and stuff, never bothered me.
Right.
The very important thing, Campitossio Lanes up in Newburgh, New York.
Right.
I was one of 5 bowlers that were brought up there to bowl anchor on 5 teams. And then I made a ton of money in the pot games.
Right. Yeah, well.
We had the upstate bowlers, and they were good.
Right.
They were very good. Vinny was up there with me, Gil Edgett. They didn't take Joe Santini.
Really?
That's right. We used to meet on the thruway. I'd park the car in the gas station, and we'd all go up in one car.
Right.
I worked in the Bronx, so it was very nice for me.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a Pontiac dealer. I was doing special work for him as a service advisor.
I see.
So, but a few times he caught me falling asleep because who had time to sleep at night?
Right.
We were up making money.
That's right. That's what it was all about. Let me ask you something else.
I left him. I couldn't take it anymore.
Right. Let me ask you.
Get some sleep.
Right. Let me ask you something else. What was your favorite lanes throughout the years to bowl in? Rainbow. I'm kind of surprised.
10, 11, and 12.
Really? And how many years did you bowl at Rainbow?
Rainbow was I shot the last. Should have been sanctioned 300 in the doubles.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Upstairs.
Right.
Upstairs was tougher than downstairs.
Okay. Yeah. I bowled a few times at Rainbow. I was there that night. They had the big match with Petraglia and Roth against Jeff Kidder and Cliffy Bergman, and then I bowled Larry Starr downstairs. I don't know if you know Larry Starr. He bowled on the pro.
I heard of him.
Yeah, right. I bowled him that night downstairs in the corner. We bowled 6 games. We won 3 each. I considered myself very lucky to break even with him, and I packed it in then.
Well, all I know is Gil Edgett took me over to Colony Bowl with him, and we wound up bowling Phil Marino and George DiBenevento. He was managing the place.
Right.
We beat him for $4,000, and he went into the safe.
Really?
I think they caught him, and I think he went to jail.
Wow.
Listen, the money was ours, but we had enough guys. Then they used to take me up to the Bronx. There was a guy by the name of Rudy Pizzuti.
Really?
Who loved to go after me. I'd just sit at the counter having a cup of coffee while they were setting up the match.
Right.
And I just took care of business.
That's it. Bert Goodman.
Then I bowled doubles when I beat Ralph Hagen. I beat him, and I beat 12 other guys that the manager sent after me.
Wow.
Every week he rang the register.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
And you kept bringing the money home.
Yeah, in fact, I shot an open 300 there in practice.
Right.
Before we bowled the league, I shot when they saw it. They what do you call it? Didn't sanction it. You can't. Wasn't league, but they gave me the trophy for it,
Mm-hmm.
which was
Okay.
very nice.
Right.
I have one from the island also that happened. They witnessed it.
Right. Well, you must have quite a few trophies at home.
200 or more.
Wow, that's saying something.
And some of them are as big as 3 or 4 feet.
Really? Wow.
No, I don't mean 3 or 4 feet. I mean 18 to 20 inches or more.
Right.
I can't talk feet. That's how tall I am.
Let me ask you something.
Of course, I won the All-Star in Union Square Lanes and went to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I shot 190 over and didn't even make the cut.
Really?
That's when I took the full roller and put it to bed.
It was time to end it, huh?
To Donato, and I says, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
It's gone.
Yeah.
The lanes changed. The patterns of the lanes have changed, and I can't reach into the pocket as deeply as I wanna to destroy the wood.
Right.
He says, Bert, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. Bingo. Within 6 months, I was tossing them like they were no tomorrow.
Really?
Changed my hand position, and Joe helped me a little bit because Joe liked me.
Right.
He wouldn't close the shop for anybody, but he did for me.
Right.
On
Right.
Friday night, between 6 and 8, he drilled the ball for me.
And what made
2.5 months I drilled in Manhattan. Took 2.5 hours to drill the ball.
And what make ball was you using then? Mm-hmm.
Manhattan rubber, only one. When I started with the other balls, I suffered.
Right.
Well, I bowled good, but I didn't bowl. When I mean suffered, I couldn't get what I wanted out of it.
Right.
I had Western pitches with half ounce sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And that was legal, by the way. He knew everything about the legality of the ball.
Right.
Oh, the most important thing that nobody ever got here, except in New Jersey, is I was named to the All-American second team.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That includes Don Carter, Dick Weber, and the whole Bud crew.
Wow.
And we're talking about the rest of the bunch.
Right.
The New York sports writers did that for me.
Well, I'll tell you, that's
The
something.
only one from Brooklyn or in the New York City area, except maybe 1 or 2 that I can't recall, that was ever named to the All-American team.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
And that's the truth.
Uh-huh.
But the bias to putting me in the Hall of Fame unearthed me no end. What you will do for me will at least give me some accolades to what I really deserved. And I'm not being in other words, I'm not being self-opinionated.
Right. Well, you get what you deserve and you're going to get it the proper way. Let me ask you something. What was your favorite lane conditions to bowl on?
Lane conditions, oil.
Oil. Well,
Oil and a little bit of open pocket. Not much.
right.
That's enough for me to play 10 and 12 board.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I used to love 10 and 12 board. Then all of a sudden they started blocking that out, and we had to go out to 1 and 6. Oh, my first tournament was in Shreveport, Louisiana,
Uh-huh.
and that was a 1 and 6 shot. But I played 10 up and in. Nobody could play 10 up and in the full roll like I did.
Right. Uh-huh.
My full roller was 1/16 of an inch. It never changed.
Yeah. Well,
If you look at my hands, you'll still see part of the work that I did. I had a thumb, forget about it, with a knot behind the thumb, and my second finger, not the second, third finger in my hand still has the roughness of the hole.
right.
Which
Yeah.
is not the way it That was the secret, the way I held the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's throwing a tight roll, that's for sure.
I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying that's throwing a tight roll.
Yes, very tight.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Ask questions.
Let me ask you.
It's just liberal stuff. I went out to the island. We bowled in the travel league.
Right.
Travel league cup into singles and doubles. I was on both the doubles and the singles. I had the high average out in the island at 199, and they wouldn't recognize it.
Really?
I'm telling you, the prejudice against me was just unbelievable.
Nah. Well, listen, Bert. For some reason, my phone's breaking up.
Waiting on me.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. My phone's breaking up a little bit, so we'll end it now, and then we'll pick it up again tomorrow or the next day, and we'll keep going on and on.
Okay, fine. I think you've got something to work with.